Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to a mod showcase for Bewitchment Plus. A Bewitchment add-on by Mr. Sterner. It is of course for the mod Bewitchment. If you don't know anything about the mod, then you can go find out about it on my channel. I have loads of videos on it. But Bewitchment Plus itself is an add-on mod which adds in a new transformation, a few new decorative blocks, and some cool extra ideas. It is a work in progress at the moment though, so don't expect everything to be completely finished. And with the mod not being completely finished, it adds a little bit of the mystery back to Bewitchment that I encountered when I started making videos on such a mod, which we shall now cover within this cave. One of the first things that it adds is a new kind of tree, the yew sapling. Yew trees can be found on mountainsides, and they are very bushy, big trees of a rather pleasing aesthetic. It can be chopped up and trimmed into all the pieces of trees you know and love, such as stripped bark, more stripped wood, logs, fences, planks, you name it, we got it in yew wood. I don't know if it has any other special properties besides it's a new kind of wood, and Leshen spawn underneath it. More on that later. Next is a whole bunch of work in progress, I believe. Various different things. We've got ember grass, a new kind of grass, although there is absolutely no recipe on how to make them. There is dragon fruit. Again, doesn't do anything as far as I can tell. Souls, an ingredient in some recipes, no way to get them. The pentacle, you can use it as a decoration. Bloodroot, no idea what it does. And ender vial, that's a little odd. And the most intriguing, at the same time mystical thing to me, the dragon blood staff. It's a really cool looking little staff. It has this property, if you shift, right click with it, it puts the runes that you get from chalk into it and they switch about. It's really nifty. That animation is really smooth. I like the look of it. It just sort of sucks in and changes. It's really cool looking staff, but I have absolutely no idea what this thing does. And that's because I think it's a working project. Now you might go, oh, go to the Book of Shadows. Well, Book of Shadows away then. And in the Book of Shadows, we can see all the things that are different, highlighted in the blue. So don't you worry, you can see all the things. But among those things, this dragon blood staff is not here. After these working products, we have another decorative change, which is the Blackstone coffins, which is just a way to make your coffin out of fancy Blackstone to make it look really cool. And you just surround a bed with Blackstone and you get a Blackstone coffin. Next is something pretty good. There's a little bit of a bug with how it goes into the old glow frame, but it is a very cool idea. It's a vampire idea too, well, mostly vampire, and it's the goblets. You can put goblets down. They're a nice decorative thing. You can set them out on a table if you like, and you can also fill them with blood. To get blood into a goblet, if you're a vampire and you have a friend who's not a vampire, tell them, put the goblet into your offhand, hold the anthem in your right hand, and then right click, and they'll fill it full of blood. And then if they're a vampire, they can drink the blood. Or instead, you can run at someone while wielding the goblet in one hand and the knife in another, and mug them for their blood while swinging your knife wildly at them, which is another way to get your decorative piece of bloody bottle into your possession. But also, you can take it while it's filled with blood, and you can put it on the ground, and then you can have red and gold, gold and red. Very nice patterns. And the goblet comes in its flavors of gold, silver, and netherite. Yes, recipe simple and good. Simple and good. After that, we have the new things with silver. Silver has silver slabs, which you can make stone cutting table, of course. Silver staircases, which look really pretty. Silver half blocks, yeah, I don't know about them. And the cut silver, could take it or leave it. Still interesting. Now, there were two new rituals added, but one of the rituals is a step in a different direction that we're not quite at yet. And the other one, I am afraid to try, because I don't know how stable it will be. And also, it requires soul And I don't know how to get soul besides GTN, and so I don't really want to showcase it as it seems a little work in progress. And speaking of work in progress, there's another thing, which is the silver standing candelabra, which last time I interacted with them, they crashed my game. So standing candelabra, handle with care, as it doesn't seem to care for you. But something that does care for you and is quite pretty and does work is the new and improved statues. See, the old Bewitchment removed the statues. They're like, nah dog, we're getting rid of these things, they're just decoration, unnecessary. But this mod maker's like, bring them back, baby. Bring them back. With lovely heron statue made of gold here. Lilith expressing her dominance by doing a sort of T-pose. Good old Leonard here, actually looking noble for once in his pitiful life. And of course, Baphomet sitting in its classic position, also coming in different flavors of Blackstone and Nether Brick, giving old heron here some really nice red. I actually really like the Blackstone on both Lilith and Baphomet. They look really pretty, these statues. There's a new broom, the U broom. It's made out of the U wood, but it doesn't do anything special besides fly like the normal broom, so I don't know what his deal is yet. It actually feels really slow, so that's probably another work in progress, especially because if you go to the book, and you go to tools, and you go to brooms, the U broom is not in there. We've got a juniper broom, we got a dragon's blood broom, elder, cypress, but no U broom. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Now let's get a werewolf thing, and that werewolf thing will be the Moonlight infusion. The Moonlight infusion lets you infuse a potted plant to become moon flowers, which let you know the phase of the moon. It is made with sugar, elderbark, and a condite, and it gets all bubbly on you. Take out the glass bottle, bam! You get more of this Moonlight stuff. And how does it let you know the phases of the moon? Well, if you go time add 1 day, and then we just spam that a little bit, you'll see the plant actually changes. So there's no moon in the sky. We can move it along to full moon in the sky. As you can see, basically full moon. And then we're about at half moon. And so if we go out there to take a look, oh look at that, it's half moon. And why this is useful is during the day, it still lets you know the moon phase. So you can always have the moon at the phase you want it to be, which is pretty useful, I would say, for a werewolf especially. From that werewolf accessory, we have another fun thing this mod adds, which is Mutundus, made with an egg, bone meal, and mandrake root, and extracted with a bottle. You get this weird looking stuff. And with this weird looking stuff, you go up to any plant you see, and you tap it, and it'll mutate the plant into a new random plant, which is really cool and brings back something from old Witchery, the mutations, which is how you used to actually have to get the old mutated plants, which I really like. You can also upgrade if you add Mutundus, gunpowder, and ink sacs all together, and then bottle that up. You get Mutundus brew, which acts like a splash potion. Mutate all the plants that it splashes on, or a relatively fair amount of them, into new and different plants for you to work with. I like this callback to old Witchery. It definitely gives it a good Witchery feel, and I'm always for Bewitchment being more like Witchery, even if the mod is moving in a direction away from that. Next we have a new ritual, which is a little confusing to understand. To start with, you just have to tame yourself an animal. You actually don't have to make it. Future Connor here interrupting past Connor. This ritual just doesn't work. I tested a whole bunch of ways and none of those ways did anything. So yes, the first ritual doesn't work, and the other one I don't want to do because it requires an item that there's no way to get naturally in the game. On to the next thing. The new creatures that have been added. One of which is a unicorn, and welcome to the Unicorn Murder Pit, where you can take your unicorns, put them in the murder pit, take out your sword or fancy knife, murder the unicorn, and leave a bunch of unicorn blood on the ground. Now, murdering unicorns is considered a very evil act, but we don't exactly care, as we're going to take our silver goblet and suck up some unicorn blood. We're going to take our bottle and also suck up some unicorn blood. Now we have a jar of unicorn blood and a goblet of unicorn blood. And you can drink these to make yourself immortal. Or something. I'm not exactly certain how it works. But it's supposedly meant to prevent you from dying. Unless you lose the effect and then you don't die. I still don't get it. Also, the unicorn blood in a jar is not useful like the unicorn blood in a bottle. You can't actually drink it when it's in a jar form, so it's best to get it from the goblet. And it's a little confusing, but it gives you half-life. It's like Harry Potter and drinking unicorn blood. And speaking of Harry Potter, well, there's some more Harry Potter creatures that were added in the creature list. And I mean purely Harry Potter. And you might think, oh, it's just a little bit Harry Potter inspired. But no, it's pure Harry Potter nonsense. For behold, the Niffler. Literally a creature straight out of Harry Potter that likes shiny things, but it sleeps during the night. But when day comes about, oi, wake up. Or do you need to be like underground? Or you just hover. Yeah, if they're underground, then they actually exist as a real entity. Gold? You want gold? Apparently, we're meant to steal it off players. Daylight has turned your companion to stone. I think their sleeping's bugged. Oh look, they actually hold on to the gold. That is adorable. Here. Yeah. There you go. You can take the gold. All you little suckers. Yes, Nifflers. 'Twas added. Little thieving wretches. Added back into Bewitchment, the very annoying black dog, slightly smaller than the old one. I think it's actually an identical model though. They post to spawn around villages and they attack villagers. Awful little cretins. And along with that in their villager friends are the Cambora. These miserable guys that live in random huts by themselves. Yes, they were added back as well. The demon spawn with their demon children and missing shirts. There's phoenixes, one of the spectral familiars. They fly like a bird. And finally, and lastly, is the Leshen, or leshy, whatever you want to call it. A creature based within Eastern Europe mythology as a tree god that live in forests, which over time, especially with the advent of the Witcher, were combined with aspects of the Wendigo in appearance, although there is some arguments that the Leshen has always had the deer skull, while others argue that it is just a tree giant that is very foresty. Whatever the case, they look really cool, and unfortunately I can't spawn them eggs. They only spawn around yew trees. Here we go. Fear not, for I have found some. If I set my game to survival, they will very happily try to murder my face off. But if you happen to be so lucky as to murder their face off, then you can take their face, or rather their skull, and put it on your head, and it'll turn you into a Leshen, which gives you just the armor, some funky movement, and if you right-click the base of the tree, you can claw it up, and it turns it into a homestead for you. And this is now your yew tree. You can have one at a time going. And this is a spot which is good for you. It gives you the homestead effect, which stops the Leshen skull from degrading. The farther you go from the tree, the more it degrades. Now, the only thing that I have so far found that being a Leshen provides for you is terrifying your friends and a great amount of increased move speed and really cool running animations. Although I'd recommend having jump up while doing it. Now, if the Leshen is not running, they actually look really slow and silly, but when they're running, they go quite fast, although their jump could definitely be improved in height. I think that the Leshen should have probably a 3 to 4 high jump, just for its sheer mass that this creature has. Also, being a Leshen doesn't really add all that much to your attack power. You can still wield objects though while being a Leshen, and the armor gives you just the armor. So yeah, I mean, they're cool. They look really cool. You can wear all sorts of armors while being a Leshen to get the bonus, and you can actually feel quite tanky while homesteaded in Leshen. But your armor definitely feels really tanky when you have the homestead effect and the full armor as a Leshen. So I think they might actually have slightly better than normal armor. I mean, this is high armor, but I think they might be slightly tougher than normal. And yeah, no, the Leshen definitely just looks super badass. Hopefully, more will be done to it, especially the jump, because, oh, their jump looks so terrible. It needs height. Like, they just look like the dorkiest dorks in the world, not be able to jump at all, especially with how terrifying they are. Also, their feet appear to hover slightly above the ground. I think their base model needs to be a little firmer in reality. Just lowered down like a pixel or two, so they actually walk on the ground. Besides that, they're great. Well, besides all the things that they're great. And finally, for your viewing pleasure, just going to take off the Leshen skull and transport back to normal. We've got this stuff. Fleece, which is fancy looking wool that you can turn into the super duper rainbow pattern. No idea how to get fleece or the other stuff, but it looks nifty, so that's cool, and we're going to have that there. And that is a Bewitchment Plus, which I say, can't wait to see what happens with it. Not many people have looked at it, so I'd recommend checking it out yourself, downloading it, playing around with it, keeping an eye on it for when it does update, because this person is really good at least making the models and making things look cool. Like this Leshen looks super cool. And I'm excited to see what this staff gets to become when it's fully working and not bugged out like it is right now. So with that, I will thank you very much for watching, and as always,